Is my mic on? There we go. Okay. So, I almost wish I had taken a screenshot of what I just saw, because I was in OBS's settings taking a look at my microphone device, and it was just -1. I don't get it. The microphone hasn't gone anywhere. Not like I've unplugged it. It just decided, no, I'm -1 now. That's why I was muted. All right. Anyways, to repeat myself really quick, for anyone that can't read lips, which I assume is going to be most of you, sorry for the disheveled look. I had actually gone and taken a nap, because like an hour-ish ago or so, I was feeling like really tired and like falling asleep in my chair, and I was like, oh yeah, I got the stream tonight. So I was like, all right, I'll go have a quick nap. And yeah, let's just say bed, very comfy. Let's just throw on my hat really quick. There we go. All right, now you guys don't have to worry about my hair. I didn't think my hat was so close on hand, so this works. All right. Anyways, so with all that out of the way, hey guys, another week, another content drop for GBM. Yeah, I know a lot of people aren't exactly the most pleased with all of the repeat suits that are happening, but hey, you're on the ride. Like I said before, there's still no like EOS talks or anything, so like y'all need to stop putting away the pitchforks about the game is dying and they're not telling us. Just relax, bruh. They're just trying to flesh out a tribute link. Granted, I still think it'd be kind of interesting if they did one new suit, one a tribute link suit, and kind of do that. But this is what they decided to do. C'est la vie. So, yeah. Now, we're going to do our normal cycle here. We're going to take a look at the event store, take a look at our welfare, and the event shop itself. We're going to check out the gacha stuff. We're going to check out... Oh, that bed sounds nice. We're going to check out the Twitter videos, and then alterations. Yay! Alrighty. So, Sniper Coin. Let's see what ye old Dynamis got going on. Okay. So for the head, quick reload gamma. All ranged weapon reload speeds boosted by 23%. That's interesting. All ranged weapon. All. Now, does this mean every ranged weapon that you have equipped, so like ranged EX skills? Is it talking about just your primary ranged weapon? Does it mean every member of your squad's ranged weapon? It just seems really weird with its phrasing, all ranged weapon reload speeds, considering you can only slot one. What? That's a little weird. Hey, oh wow, I got a lot. I haven't been paying attention to chat. You wake up a bit apparently. All right. Reload trait as an EX that applies to your squad. Yeah. Yeah, that's right. That's what Gamma does. It's squad wide. It's been a while. Alpha self, B is typically debuff, Gamma is squad. Okay, so it's a squad-wide ranged weapon reload speed boost. So kind of one of those things that'll shine really early, or early on, I should say. As when you're kind of newer to the game, you tend to use your neutral shot a lot. Once you get up to kind of more of a mid-higher end kind of gameplay style, I say that very loosely, you tend to use more EX skills, magazines, cutscenes, and whatnot. Not so much the neutral game anymore, so this will kind of fall off. But early on, yeah, sure, you know. But There's better head traits and EX skills than this, so. Alright. So overall, stat-wise, ooh, wow. Hot tamales. Okay. So, total melee attack here is going to be token. We're looking less than 700. Which, excuse me, makes sense because, you know, it's a shot suit. It's not a melee suit. Shot is interesting. We're almost at 4K shot. We're sitting at about 3,900, 3,950, 4K, around there. For a welfare head, those are some crazy high numbers, like actually insane. I think 4K shot attack after carryover is actually the highest we've seen on a welfare head up until this point. Pretty sure it is. It's good stuff. Beyond that, Gundam type, Ace exclusive, both of those are really useful tags. Gundam type, flexible, activates a ton of traits. Ace exclusive, that's the big pew pew. One of the 2 best shot tags you want, and considering it's a shot suit. Nice. Okay. Alright. Hey Brudax, doing okay. And what was Arn saying? I lost my first GBW World Tournament Season 3 form Dark Sukia. Sukiya's tournaments are quite interesting, I'll give him that. I don't know. I'm not really into the rat race that this game kind of pushes forward with, like, its constant creep. My suit may not be the most powerful in the game, but it is more than adequate to clear all content eyes closed. And I think that's kind of all you need. We need build series pilots. Yeah, we do. We do. We need a lot of things still. But we're just kind of going to get reruns for now, I think. Lots of attribute link stuff. Like, on one hand, you know, it's nice. We get to flesh out a feature we didn't really get to before. Also gives new players a chance to kind of get these older suits that they may really, really like. That may not have been very accessible to them. So kind of a double edge on that. For older players, obviously, who really cares? It's a tribute link. I'm not using these parts. It's not going to affect me. Blah, 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 blah. Fair points. Just, you know, save your Haro. Yeah, I gotta look at the calendar, guys. Like, we got anniversary coming relatively soon. Just saying. Alright. Anyways, let's take a look at our torso. With speed attribute, enemy shooting power reduced by 25%. Speed attribute, very easy to get. 5 parts of the speed attribute or more, and you'll get it. Aces, enemy shooting power reduced by 25%. This is a very mileage may vary kind of trait. Keep in mind, enemy shooting power will only affect enemies that are targeting the suit that this is applied to or equipped onto. So if you don't have it on your main suit, but like a secondary suit, you're going to do literally dick all. Nothing. And 25% is a healthy reduction. It's obviously also going to be useless against melee. So, yeah. Honestly, it really depends on the build you're going for. I know some people have like completely maxed out like damage reduction stuff, and it's really weird fighting them. But now that we have the enemy reduction minus trait, you can actually counter those 100% builds. Anyways, tangent. It's much like the head EX skill. Alright, Gundam type, long range. Well, Gundam type hasn't changed. Like I said, still very flexible. Activates a ton of traits. As for long range, it's an okay tertiary shot tag there. It does raise your shot attack, does raise your shot defense. It is used activating a few traits, not a lot, but it's still there. So it's an okay tertiary, effectively. As for stats on the torso, keep in mind when it comes to stats, as the torso is not a primary part for shot or melee, but still better than legs and backpack. We tend to see, at least on welfares recently, it break 1k. Typically it goes a little higher than that, pushes up past, 12, and, on these suits where it's really specialized, past 1400. That's before I've even looked at the numbers, mind you. It may look like I'm looking at the screen and looking at the numbers while saying this, but I'm actually not. I'm saying all this before we get there, so you can kind of get a baseline idea in case you have forgotten, or you're new, or any myriad things. Anyways, so numerically, looking at about 900 or so melee attack, sub 1k. Again, to be expected, it is a shot suit first, melee never. So, yeah. That's acceptable. As for shots, we're looking at about 1700 shot attack, sitting kind of around there. Very good numbers for a welfare. Those, yeah, good number. Very good. Big boom. Gundam type, long range tags again. Oh, I've already talked about those for this part. Don't mind me. I'm going in circles. But then again, typically I'm also a lot quicker talking about parts. I guess I'm still waking up. Anyways, so statistically, lots of shot damage. Trait-wise, tags, workable. Not bad. Like a lot of the welfares we've been seeing recently, it's definitely more kitted out with stats than anything else. Sometimes they'll have that cool, like, one EX skill or trait that's just... and the stats are great. The rest is kind of eh. But it is a welfare after all, so... Welfare suit so boring it's making you yawn? No, me being tired and wanting to go to bed because it is 11:15 at night is making me yawn. The one downside to being EST and doing mobile game stuff is most of the server's content drops are balanced around JST. So it is late. If I was at least on West Coast or something, it'd be like 9 p.m. or something or so right now, and or even 8, manageable. But, like, we're approaching midnight whenever content drops happen here. I hate it. I hate it so much. Why can't I have a nice, like, 6 p.m. drop, Anyways. So... statistically, for the arms and the head are two of the, primary parts for stats. So I expect the arms to pack a lot of shot punch here. Okay, so melee-wise, we're looking at about 3k. Again, this is a shot machine first, melee second. And even then, 3k melee attack puts it on par with a lot of our launch 4-star parts. It's not bad. As for shot, we're looking at about, 1900 or so shot attack? Do keep in mind, that is a lot of shot attack for a pair of arms. Typically, welfare suits have anywhere between 1200 to 1500 or so. So seeing this one push up almost to 2k is kind of nuts. Yeah, obviously loses out to Sokais and Limiteds and everything post power creep. But still very solid, honestly. Very, very solid. Alright, the trait. While long range, buff EX skill effect up 15%. In case you've forgotten, GBM uses flat addition for these types of modifiers, meaning if your buff, for example, increased something by 23%, this would just add 15% flat to it, making it 38% wholesale. And yes, you can just keep stacking numbers too. So yeah, not bad. Makes long range actually look pretty okay. The buff effect percentage isn't amazing, only 15%. I'm pretty sure it can go up to like 25? Anyways, for a welfare, good numbers. Not the best you can expect, at least, considering alterations and stuff. But honestly, I think this is the highest we've seen without alterations, so nice. And then Gundam type and long range. So tags, workable. Trade, yeah, for a welfare, pretty solid. Mileage may vary depending on your build. And the damage numbers. Impressive. Okay, let's take a look at the legs. Those thick Dynamis legs. So I will say something. The GN missile actually helped me a lot when this game was still really new. The way that everything worked in Arena was with these legs on, like fresh off the game, you know, just rolling them, slapping them on. As soon as the warning noise ended for Arena's 1v1, you know, enemy approaching, I could immediately hit the GN missile skill and just wail on the enemy. Remember, this was at launch where we didn't really have a really good idea of Pierce power min-maxing, and we didn't have access to hundreds of EX skill power boosts and CDRs. It did work back then. Not so much now, because, you know, A power, or A Pierce D power, hits like the wettest noodle you could ever want. But back in the days, it was okay. For a very short amount of time. Back when we were all blind. Content drops always midnight where I live. Yeah, no, like, I'm not saying that, you know, it being at 11 p.m. is bad. I'm streaming at 11 p.m. Like, dude, I'm like an old man. I need to sleep like 8-9 hours, dude. And I gotta wake up for work like really early. So like, doing this stream at 11 p.m. is effectively like a suicide trip for me, because I'm gonna wake up zombie. But I do it anyways. If it was just look at the content, 11 p.m., whatever, man, sure. But sit here, think, talk, you're setting the bar so high. You think the game is dying with these every other week events and constant recycles? As Jun said, Derek, nah, man. There's no talks about EOS or Sunset or anything that I've seen. It's purely just the devs trying to build up on this attribute link thing. There's obviously a dozen better ways they could have approached it. This is the way they decided to do it. It's not EOS. There's no plans to EOS. Just save your Haro chips if none of this interests you. We got the anniversary coming really soon. I figure there's going to be some kind of banger dropping. Just, you know, throw that out there. No problem, Derek. And you can't expect you to be here from the very beginning, so. Okay, well, back to this. So, legs. As I said with the EX skill, A Pierce D power, not really that good. Overall, legs and backpack, stat-wise, tend to be the lowest defensively distributed of the entire frame. So I'm not expecting a ton of really big numbers from this, but we'll see. Again, may look like I'm looking at the numbers in front of me, but it just so happens I am not. I'm talking about all this before actually looking at the numbers. Gundam type 4 desert tags. Gundam type, still usable, still lots of traits that activates. Solid. 4 desert. Okay. So I'm just trying to think of words. Don't worry about it. Okay, so for one, as you guys probably know, I'm not a big fan of the 4 line of tags. I don't think they're very good. I think that honestly they could be a lot better. But the part that really gets me here, okay? This is a Gundam Dynamis. Why does it have 4 desert and not 4 space? To double tune on that, as we heard in, well, I guess continuity differences, you know, between series. But from what I understood watching, because 00 comes after Seed, for example, chronologically. Yeah, anyways. Beams dissipate in the desert because the heat causes refraction. The Gundam Dynamis is all about the beams. Obviously, there are other series where the suits are in the desert and, you know, beams aren't affected as much. I just kind of brain immediately jumped to that. And I'm like, why 4 desert of all things? That is That's some fucked up shit, man. Different series, different performance. Yep. Yeah, I know Double O had an entire battle in the desert. My brain just immediately jumped to that, like, one tidbit from Seed. It was like, why? But it's still, why for desert and not for space? Considering that is kind of where the Dynamis would shine the most, no? Anyhow. For deserts, because the big Double O desert fight where they almost got captured. Yeah, that's just... It just feels asinine, honestly. Like, the suit is made for something, but because in this series it did this one thing, we're gonna just throw that out the window and make its tag that. Series-wise, it makes sense, but, like, I don't know, it's just weird to me. Double O is always unrealistic. You said it, not me. Even with no talk of EOS, the image they're putting out for people who aren't hardcore is that they aren't pretty much working the game. It should look like it's dying. So, Inner, this is something I noticed, and I think people just kind of gotta be a little more cognizant of it. But what I want you to do, and not you in particular, I guess, I should say, for everyone that's complaining about the content slowing down, I want you to just take a seat and get something to write on, and let me know of every mobile game you've played where content updated every week, where it gave you a new event. Granted, it was templated. New content in the gacha to roll, like new mobile suits and whatnot. Constantly adding features and stuff as we go on every 3 to 4 months. I just want you to, not you in particular, but I think I should say, I want people to just kind of realize how spoiled, I think is the best way to put it, that we've been with this game up until this point. Getting constant streams of new content every single week for 2.5 years before they finally decided we should probably slow this down a little bit. Like, it's bonkers when you think about it. Granted, a lot of the models are apparently recycled from other games. A lot of the EX skills are copy-paste or just slight tweaks and modifications. But the point still stands that for 2.5 years, we were week after week given content. I don't know of many other mobile games, if any, that do that. I think the only other experience I've had with this is Luminaria, that also had week after week content updates, and that had significant story drops, it had new characters, animations, and everything. So, like, Fortnite. Yeah, Fortnite also is a multi-billion-dollar IP on its own. Gundam, not so much. Kind of apples and oranges comparison there, mate. So, like, I'm not saying what they're doing right now is great. I'm not going to say that what they're doing right now is ideal. But what I am going to say is just take it in stride and compare it to other things that are available in the market right now, right? Just compare what we've got in this game for the last 2.5 years with content to what other games get in the course of, like, even a year, right? Like, I play Fake Grand Order, right? We get a new servant once every month and a half, 2 months on average or so. We get a new event about the same amount of time, lots of reruns in between and little baby events and stuff. All right, if we got an update every week or every other week, that would just, right? And same goes for a lot of other games. And, I can understand it. If this is your first mobile game, the only mobile game you played, maybe you are someone that happened to play mobile games that update every other week, this may seem a little weird, it may seem a little slow, but overwhelmingly, on average, this game is way ahead of the curve in content drops. So, I'm not trying to white knight the game or anything, I'm just saying to put it into perspective, frankly. We've been spoiled the last 2.5 years with content for this game. Them finally deciding to dial it back could be a number of things. Maybe they decided that they've burned through enough, like, low-end animations, and maybe they need to spend more dev time on quality, and they're just pumping out these alternate attributes in the meantime. Maybe they're forwarding everything for Anniversary, doing something absolutely insane for that. Maybe there's, I don't know, right? No one really knows except for the devs, but I can say there's no EOS or anything talk going on in the background. People just need to dial it back, mellow out, chill pill a little bit, you dig? Yeah, no, I know that it doesn't look good, and you know it's the devs. You know, as always, they're a little bit not. You know, I'm not gonna say not on the ball because there's a lot of stuff they've done where it's been like really good, but they're clearly not considering all of the optics that this is going to be doing for them. And I'm surprised by now they haven't really addressed it, considering, but there's probably something going on we don't know about, stuff we can't, like, they're not allowed to talk about, whatever. Just relax, dudes. I've been doing nothing for so long, my phone actually went to sleep. That's great. Okay. I think that's the cue to focus back on the game. We get a new servant every less than half a month, one per 2 to 3 weeks, maybe more depending on the new story chapter. Fate's been running how long now? We're coming up to our 7th anniversary, is it? Let me check something really quick here. Let's do 6.5 just to be nice about this. And then we have 335 servants. So if we take the 365 days in a year and we multiply that by 6.5, it's been about 6.5 years if we're being really, really generous, because we're, again, only a couple of months away from our 7th anniversary, but I'm still being nice. So then we take the 335 total servants in the game, and then we do 365 times 6.5 divided by 335, and you get a whopping 7. So even on absolute average, we're getting about 1 servant every 7 weeks. Math. I hate it. Daily grind, build up powers, doesn't cause a neck. So the Exodus was inevitably going to happen with this game no matter what, for a couple of reasons. First off, you got to understand the game is over 2.5 years old now, and they really haven't done any like severe innovation with the gameplay. It's still more or less the exact same as it was at launch. So a lot of people that have been playing this for a long time, you know, they're probably going to get a little bored of the stale feeling combat. You know, there's not a lot of variety in that sense, right? Same time, there's not a lot of Gundam options to choose from. You have this and games that aren't in your language. So yeah, suffer. Beyond that, you also got to realize too, right, that when they do a big change like this, it does tend to alienate a lot of people because they're used to something and that thing changes, and it's in our nature to not like change. Here we are. And of course as well, we had a lot of people doom posting this game when that 2 weeks thing was announced. People were like, game is dead, game is dying, 2 weeks, oh no, how could we? Completely ignoring every other mobile game in existence that takes like a month minimum per content drop, right? So an exodus was inevitable at one point or another. Age of the game, lack of variety. Pretty much the people that are still playing this are like really just the Gundam fans. Like, they're not really here for the gameplay. They're not really here for anything but the Gundams, because that's the big draw at this point after 2.5 years. So yeah, you know, it's not like let's see here, what's a good example for this? Actually, a great example is for like Genshin, right? When that launched, people played the shit out of it, and a lot of people still do. But if you look at the total player numbers between launch and now, a lot of people have quit for one reason or another. And I'll tell you right now, if you go and query a lot of people, it'll be, well, the game's kind of getting old, and I didn't really invest a lot of money into it, and there's these other games coming out that look really good, and, my friends moved on, or, yeah, I just wasn't interested, and so on, right? Staleness tends to drive a lot of people away. There's obviously games that have survived a very long time, even though they're stale. And that's purely just because they've made really good decisions that keep people playing for one reason or another, whether they've figured out how to abuse Skinner box systems, or whether they figured out how to feed on dopamine. Well, I guess that's kind of the same thing as Skinner box procedures, like Grand Blue Fantasy, right? That game's old as fuck, right? But it still persists because they know how to make people want to keep playing. They know what draws the people in, right? Same with Fate. It's a strong IP now. They keep people around, they keep people playing. I say that very loosely, though. A lot of people still play Fate Grand Order purely because they've been playing it for so long. It would be stupid to stop playing it, and because most of their friends play it, and a lot of people online play it, and really good artists play it, and so on and so forth. Why would you stop? Fate Grand Order is garbage, let's be real. They really need to update that engine. Anyways, point in case, there was inevitably going to be a lot of players dropping off this game. This just catalyzed it and gave people a good excuse to finally quit and go away. Oh, the content is slowing down, a bunch of people are doom posting, they're probably right, game is dead, I'll leave. Power to them, right? So, the game is going to die because the game can cause the game to die. Yeah, it truly can. I've seen, and I know we're still heavily off topic, but Punishing Gray Raven, I think, is a textbook example of that exact mindset, Alex. When Punishing Gray Raven launched globally, it got absolutely assaulted. Lots of people panned it and were just, doing their best to give crappy reviews and whatnot. And you could argue a lot of it was manufactured because there was a lot of, definitely not true stuff being said about the game. And it did lead to a very, very crippled launch. But once you fast forward a couple of months, right, because the core fan base really just kept playing and kept trying to get their friends into it, it's still surviving and, to my knowledge, doing really well for itself, right? But if it wasn't for those people continuing to just, play and keep going, it would have absolutely died. And it doesn't take much to kill a mobile game. And it's sad, honestly, because there's a lot of really good games that just die because, people just, decide, hey, let's doom post it. It'd be funny. So, yeah. A really bad timing on Bandai's part. 2 weeks would have been fine for any reruns. I think it's they decided they should flesh out the attribute link system, and they also were like, you know what? Week after week of attribute link is really kind of silly. Let's split it up, do 2 weeks. Like, here's the thing, right? We don't know what's going on behind the curtains, okay? So let's do this like a quick tally thing here. Like, what are they thinking? Because up until this point, they've been pretty good about listening to the community, making changes and additions we want, that stuff. Maybe they didn't add your favorite suit. Maybe they didn't add your favorite pilot. Suck it up, Buttercup. They've been doing work otherwise. But with this, right? So what happens typically when you start going from a one per week or every week schedule to an every other week schedule? Devs have more time. What do you do with more time? Number of things. Develop more stuff, develop higher quality stuff, or siestas. Yeah, we'll add that in there just in case. So, with that in mind, like, I don't really see too much of an issue here. They're currently rehashing suits for the attribute link, a feature that they introduced and then did nothing about. Let me flip this on, right? Let's say they had introduced the attribute link system and then given us 4 to 5 months straight of rerun suits. I can guarantee you people would have been actually probably more pissed than they are right now. Right? And then after 2 to 3 months of them, dumping out attribute links stuff, they go, oh, by the way, guys, we're going to dial back our production schedule and do every other week instead of every week. Man, people would have been livid. Just saying. Honestly, as bad as this move was, overall in the grand scheme of things, it's a lot better than the alternatives that we had. But I don't know. I'm just holding out a little bit of faith that the devs are working on something higher quality in the back. They're developing something, working on some cool animation. Hey, you know what? Maybe they're overhauling a bunch of stuff to make, tags and traits and stuff better, more holistic. Maybe they're going back and planning on fixing a bunch of old EX skill animations. Who knows? No one. So just fucking sit down, shut up, and buckle up, Buttercup. The devs are trying to port GBO2 to PC, Gundam Alliance for Switch, and Fortnite, this shit, they've been busy. So GBO2 to PC, to my understanding, is effectively done. They just need the network testing stuff to go. Network testing isn't really like a developer thing. That's more of like an engineer thing, because you have to get, you're pretty much setting up the infrastructure for the game, right? Communications and whatnot. So there is probably a little bit of dev time in there, but the majority of that sounds a lot more like an engineer problem, getting server stuff working and whatnot. So I don't know about that one, Chief. But then again, maybe their network test was also like a beta bug test kind of thing, but they labeled it purely as a network test. So anyways, Gundam Alliance for Switch. Yeah, so there are other games, like, if you played or like watched me play the Fortnite version of Gundam, like, Evolution is actually really solid already. Like, it felt good to go, right? It honestly, as much as it was a CBT, or I guess an OBT, anyways, it felt a lot more like purely a stress test than like a bug fix kind of thing. Like, we ran into very, very, very few bugs in our entire time playing it, right? Like I said on Twitter, right? I got myself up to Battle Pass level 20, and during that time, the only bugs I had were at launch, like the first day and a half maybe. But after that, it was smooth sailing, right? So again, I don't think there's a lot of dev time in there. So I'm curious, honestly. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna finish the Dynamis here really quick. I realize I've completely stalled on talking about the suit. After that, I actually have something I want to show you guys while we're kind of on a topic that's relevant to this. So anyways, with the legs, as I said, the EX skill, A Pierce D power, completely worthless. Gundam type 4 Desert, workable first tag. Second tag, I don't like at all. As for stats, about 750, 800 melee attack to be expected. Shot attack is crazy high, almost 1800 for paralegs. That's great. Honestly, like, the welfare stats have been fucking really good. So the Gundam Dynamis backpack, there's our Trans Am, speed up by 20%, shot attack up 29%, just for yourself. Obviously a very low modifier as it is a welfare. Normally we'd see 39% as the baseline for a 4-star gacha, and then up to 49%, perhaps even 54% or higher for alterations. 29% for a welfare, though, is, I think, the highest you can honestly expect. So that's pretty okay. Gundam Type 4 Desert Tags, I've already talked about that combo. And statistically, we're looking at about 900 or so melee attack and about 1750, 1800 shot attack. So much like the legs, absolute slappers. Overall, for the frame of the Dynamis, stupid high shot attack. Lots of it's in the defense for carryover, which is really good. It'll scale well with marks. Alright, let's take a look at our GN beam pistols. When one ally shot down, reduce cooldown by 40%. Wow, I'm really good at reading. When one ally is shot down, reduce cooldown by 40% once. There we go. I can English, I swearsies. So this obviously has a lot of caveats to it. You have to be in content that allows you to have allies. You then have to lose an ally, and then you get the 40% cooldown reduction. This obviously is completely worthless in stuff like one-on-one arena and other certain modes where you don't have any allies. Outside of that, it's a mileage may vary scenario. Honestly, I think the trait can be replaced with a lot of better stuff, so Gundam Type 4 Desert Tags, I've already talked about the combo, so I'll move right along. And we have over 4k shot attack. That is some top tier stuff, putting this in the top 1%, if not top 1 of all ranged welfare weapons, numerically. Good stuff. And the GN Sniper Rifle. Cooldown time up 5%, so all of your cooldowns, I should say, get 5%, and shooting power boosted by 30. Obviously, if you're at like early stages of the game, this is a completely worth it trade-off. And even at later phases of the game, if you have a high enough CDR build, this is still a very worthwhile trade-off. 30% shooting power does do quite a bit for you. Statistically, pretty much the exact same as the beam pistols, if not the exact same. So, baller stuff. Gundam Type Ace exclusive. The superior of the two, as the Ace exclusive tag is actually top dog. You know, it's a shot machine. And Gundam Type will be a very healthy tertiary to build with that. Overall, GN Rifle, dope. So, yeah, Dynamis packs a lot. Like, a lot. It's kind of nuts, actually. Okay. Good welfare overall, statistically, it has a couple of interesting EX skills and traits in there. Nothing terribly amazing, at least in the EX skill department. Some traits are pretty useful. Now, what I was mentioning before, let me just pipe this really quickly here, because I need to change it to topical. There it is. Okay, let's make it visible. Hey guys. So you guys probably heard about this at one point or another. But Bandai has this really neat Game Fest that's going on in, 2 days or so from now. So we're going to get a bunch of information about the games you see listed here. And I felt like it was very topical, as someone mentioned, oddly enough, these 3 games. Now, as for coverage of this, I do plan on doing this live, things permitting. I will create the stream and let everyone on Discord and those that follow my Twitter know the day of if I'm going to be able to do a live coverage of this. I should be able to do so, though. For anyone that's not aware, somehow, I am ultra hyped for GBO2. The only reason I'm not playing it on my PS4 is because the Wi-Fi card on it is shot, and I don't really have a convenient way to get a wire to it. Gundam Evolution, although arcadey style shooters aren't my thing, the game is honestly lots of fun, and I feel like a lot of that is due to the fact that it is Gundam themed, and I did play the majority of the network test with my friends, and I'm a very social gamer in that aspect. It's why I enjoy my mobile games. It's lots of social interaction. And SD Battle Alliance. At first, I wasn't quite keen on this because as much as I enjoy more Gundam content, some of you may know I'm not the biggest fan of actual SD suits. I feel like the fully fleshed out suits like what we have in GBO2 are much more my style. I enjoy the full mech look, not the chibi version of them. However, after looking at the gameplay, getting kind of a better feel of what it actually is, I am 100% going to give this game a try. It looks actually like lots of fun, and it may actually be directly up my wheelhouse, but I'll wait until I actually play it to figure it out. Anyways, I just wanted to let all you guys know that this is happening in case you somehow aren't aware. I know that this got posted a while back and people were talking about it, but just in case you missed it. So yeah, it was just an oddly topical thing to bring up. Okay, and let's get rid of that and get back to what we were talking about. Gundam. More Gundam. All right, and actually we don't even have to look at the event shop anymore because they've changed the entire context of it, so cool beans. Hold on a sec, I need to enjoy this for a minute. In case anyone wants to know what it is, it's a marbled tea cake, and really good stuff. It's family recipe. Okay, so Actually, while we're on the topic of things that aren't exactly GBM, one more tiny announcement to make. For all of you that are aware of it, the Los Angeles Anime Expo is happening on the July 1st to 4th weekend coming up. I originally didn't have any plans whatsoever to go, but me and my buds decided, screw it, let's go. So for anyone that's going to the Anime Expo in LA, this coming July the 4th weekend-ish area, whatever, I will be there. You'll be able to find me at the Gundam stuff. From what I remember, Bandai Namco actually has a panel there or something. Anyways, yeah, I'm going to be there, and I'm actually really looking forward to it. So if you want to hang out, whatever, I'll be there. Just say hi if you see my mug. Yeah, just another little announcement there. I've been planning on going back to Anime North as well, which is the local con for a while, but like, I don't know, man. Something about the panels just don't do it for me anymore. Anyways, so let's take a look here at our new gacha content. So, as I've said before, 7-star stuff I don't look at here. There's no point, because frankly, all I really look at in this area here is the stats and the first EX skill or trait. But because 7-star is an arbitrary boost designed by, or tuned by hand, there's no point really looking at these. I just go and look at an alterations. So we'll just skip the gacha version, go right to the alteration, look at it there. But before that, we will take a look at our new pilots for this this other week of our bi-weekly tournament. All right, Jizzin. He's got an interesting mug. All right, our 3-star pilot. Let's take a look at our trait. With machine gun category equipped, 28% chance to not recoil. So this pretty much means when you get hit, you're not going to flinch or anything. 28% chance, not bad, 1 in 4. The machine gun category is kind of a harsh requirement, especially when other pilots bring a lot more to the table, like all power boost and whatnot. But this could be good for like a very niche build. Tags, high mobility, close combat. Both of those are good tertiary tags. They're good tertiary tags. That's pretty much what it boils down to. They activate a good handful of traits and stuff. And stats. Okay. So we're looking at about 1900 2k melee attack or so, around there, on an infighter license. For a 3-star, that's like actually jacked. Damn. And for shot attack, we're looking at about 1600, 1700, around there. Honestly, for a 3-star, the man packs a punch in the melee department. Nice. All right. So as far as 3-star pilots go, he's like not top tier or anything. He's pretty good. Yeah, like for like what they are, they're really good pilots. But when you compare them to like other stuff that's available, but then again, I guess that's kind of unfair, you know, because the build project pilots are just head and shoulders above everything else. And post power creep, we've seen some crazy stuff. All right, Chibity Crockett to the Meikyo Shisui version. Wow, he looks oddly similar to another pilot. All right, Mobile Fighter, close combat. The fact he has the Mobile Fighter tag alone immediately pushes him up a bunch in terms of actual, like, you know, whether he's good or bad. Because Mobile Fighter is still a very rare tag, all things considered. And as it is one of the core melee tags, considering it gives the 10% boost, every single source of it is always very good. Mobile Fighter close combat, so we got one of the aces for melee, and then we have a really good tertiary tag with close combat. As far as job tag being defender, it will cripple his overall stat pool, because, you know, it's defender. Statistically, we're looking at about 2600, 2650 or so melee attack, and then for shot, we're looking at about 2300 or so. So due to the fact he doesn't have the job license modifier on it, that does reduce the overall usefulness of those stats significantly because he's not getting the passive boost, but they're still not bad. Definitely puts him kind of in the top, probably 15% or so of pilots. As for traits, while mobile fighter, EX skill cooldown reduced by 20%. Honestly, that is a very solid trait, very easy to do as well for melee suits. So this may actually end up being a backslot situation if you don't have a good trait for your pilot yet, at least for your melee builds. It's good job, Chibity. You brought a nice trait to the table and mobile fighter. You should feel proud of yourself. You're actually not useless. All right, so we'll open up the alteration window, pop on over to ye old Twitter, and let's suffer. Let's see here. What do we got going on Twitter? There we go. Aha! There's our unicorn. All right, let's see what we get. Okay, hold on. Okay, so that's the same animation. Okay. Now the only thing I'm not sure about is this skill. I don't know if that's actually from the original or not. I don't recall this. But considering everything else, I'm going to assume it was on the original as well. Okay. It's the same, yeah. So, I guess the best way to put it for those three skills, NTD is exactly what we were expecting. It's NTD. The Cutscene EX is exactly the same. And the Backpack EX, or the missiles, is also exactly the same. The only concern I have here, I don't know if I brought it up when I saw the original Full Armor Unicorn, but the Missile EX skill, can you get interrupted out of that? Because that seems like a very long animation cycle and very easy to smack you out of. So, anyways, let's take a look at the Full Armor Unicorn head. So, for anyone that hasn't watched me do this talk before, I'll make it real brief. When it comes to looking at 7-star suits, I don't look at the stats, it's just power creep hell. I'm only going to look at the EX skill / part trait and the word tags. When it comes to alternating a part, the only thing that actually gets modified for sure is the EX skill or part trait. I guess stats, but the stats are kind of a guaranteed boost. We have less than 5 examples in the game where the stats drastically differ pre and post alteration. With that in mind, always make sure that the end result is what you want before investing in alterations, because there's no takebacks. So for this, I'll just be looking at the EX skill or trait and the word tags because I didn't look at the suit before. Yes, you get interrupted. Alright, cool. So it's worthless. Good to know. Huge animation and way too many hits. Okay, anyways. Full Armor Unicorn Gundam Head, NTD. Speed up 20%, heal 48% of your armor, and raise your shot attack by 49%. 49%, very healthy boost, third highest available in the game, the highest being 59%, second being 54%, so this is very solid. The heal being 48% your maximum armor, very nice, that's almost a half bar heal. And the speed boost, I guess, is a cherry on top. It's a solid NTD, kind of what we expected. It is a big suit as well, meaning the stats are also going to be cracked as all heck. Yeah, neat. High Firepower Gundam type. High Firepower is a very neutral word tag, as it can work on both shot and melee builds. And Gundam type, as I've said, powerful tertiary. High Firepower is also a very powerful tertiary, so yeah, good stuff. Torso. While high firepower, enemy What? Okay. Oh boy. So, for anyone that's late to the party, and I mean that in the sense of like you haven't played for the last few months, we've had this new trait, air quotes new, so enemy X cut -%. The way that it works is when the enemy has something like enemy shooting power reduced by 25%, what this is meant to do is remove a percentage of that total value from their pool. The problem is there is no floor to this, meaning it can drop infinitely into the negatives, meaning it is effectively a power boost. The correct way to read this kind of trait is while high firepower, all power boost by 40%, because that's effectively what the math works out to. So with that in mind, this is literally like the ultimate middle finger, I guess is the best way to put it. Whether you have melee cut, shot cut, EX cut, this just gives you the middle finger and says, no, no. While armor is 60% or more, another 40% all power boost. So overall, as long as you have over 60% of your armor and high firepower, you are getting an 80% all power boost from this part. That's bonkers. Because that makes this here's the thing. This entire part is effectively agnostic. High firepower works on shot and melee, while armor is 60% or more. Shot and melee appropriate. 80% all power boost. Again, agnostic. To boot, its word tags are high firepower and federation, where if you read the numbers, both of those are agnostic too. This part, from top to bottom, is designed to be put into any build and shine. What the fuck? Alright. Moving right along here to the arms. Full armed attack, double S minus power, D pierce, cutscene cooldown, bindable, raise speed of your squad by 20%, raise shot attack of your squad by 49%. Cool beans. This will stack with your awakening, giving you a total of almost 100% shot attack boost. You get, what, 98% or something? So, solid. It is an integrated part, however, meaning you do take quite the merit hit for actually using this as your front part. I would definitely backslot this if given the option to, just so you free up your shield slot for an additional trait, EX skill, and tag combo. Okay. High firepower Gundam type, both of those very workable tertiaries. Legs. First double S shot EX skill. It's double S minus, not double S. And I'm pretty sure we've had other double S minus shot EX skills. When shot defense is over 10k, that's not even going to be a problem. All enemy cooldown time up 25%. Alright, so we got our troll part. With a Gatling gun category equipped, EX skill cooldown reduced by 23%. Cool stuff. Cool, yeah. Both of these are very easy to activate. The second trait is obviously quite convenient. That is the highest EX skill cooldown modifier we have, 23%. All enemy cooldown time up is a very interesting trait to have as well. It works a little weird. It only works on the suit that this one is actually targeting at the time. So, yeah, it's weird. Anyways, overall, second trait's pretty good. First trait's kind of eh. If you want it, you want it. High firepower Federation tags again. Healthy combo. Backpack. Bazooka and missile launcher. D pierce A plus power. Now, as we saw with the demonstration, it does have a rather lengthy duration for the EX skill, and you are able to be interrupted out of it. With that in mind, this is one of those very few shot EX skills that on paper looks really good, but in practice is actually hot garbage. Yeah, if you want to use it because you love the full armor unicorn, be my guest. Don't let anybody stop you, because honestly, I don't think anyone will. The AIs aren't that smart. But in terms of an absolute cost scenario, it's better to invest in something that isn't interruptible with a shorter animation that does the same amount of damage. But you do you. This is definitely more a game of picking your favorites. And if this is your favorite, it's your favorite. That's it. It'll still hit like a truck. High Firepower Federation tags, like everything else, both of them very workable. Hyper, Beam, Javelin, Pointy Stick. Before 60 seconds pass, enemy all power reduced by 30%. So that's a very healthy reduction. It affects everything, melee, shooting, EX, the whole 9 yards, and it's for the first minute. Job gauge increase down 10%, squad EX skill power plus 30%. So, as I've said many times, I don't like the job gauge. I think it could still be way better than it currently is, and it doesn't bring enough to the table. So for me, the job gauge increase down 10% is negligible and not even a demerit. With that in mind, this is actually something you could slap a lot of dupes onto allied suits for, as the squad EX skill power will stack. And we have other parts that do this as well. Stop bouncing around, you silly microphone. So, put that in perspective. If you got 2 of these, and you put it on your 2 support suits for your 3 suit stack, your main suit is now getting an extra 60% EX skill power for nothing. Don't have to swap out any parts or anything. And keep in mind, there are other parts we've got that do the same thing, meaning you can more or less not infinitely, but you can very easily stack extra skill power boosts like this, or shooting power boosts or melee power boosts, and absolutely jack your main suit up without having to change a part. It's pretty good. First trait, Second trait, though, pretty solid stuff. Oh, what were the tags on this? High firepower, Gundam type. Okay. Alright, let's check out our Beam Gatling, the non-coupled version. Middle shooter job, enemy shooting cut minus 30%. So again, you read this as middle shooter job, shooting power boost by 30%. Shot damage raise 10%, shooting power boost 35%. So, if you have the middle shooter job, and you're willing to take 10% more shot damage, you're getting a 65% shooting power boost. It's a pretty good trade-off. Just don't get hit. All right, High Firepower Federation, cool. Now let's check out our coupled variant. While Gundam type, all enemy cooldown time about 25%, and when attacking with beam, squad EX skill power plus 35%. See, this is exactly what I was talking about. Just like the Javelin, here's another example. So, honestly, I don't like the first trait very much just because of its kind of multitude of specific restrictions to it. But that second trait is absolutely just top-notch. And frankly, the more of these kind of parts you can get to stack out your support suits, obviously the better. Overall, for your primary suit, maybe not the best option, but for a support suit, oh boy. High firepower, Gundam type. Okay. Overall, that was a very interesting suit. It's very clearly a more or less one-to-one carbon copy of the previous full armor unicorn. Some traits and EX skills changed very little. Some tag changes. But overall, it does bring a very healthy amount of stats to the table, obviously, as it's a 7-star, and 7 stars are just completely busted. And it does have a couple of really nice support suit primary parts. It does have the torso, which is an absolute jaw-dropper with its, 60% all power boost or whatever it was, that stupid high number. So, yeah, overall, full armor unicorn, very nice. I would say the torso is kind of the winner there. Yeah. Cool stuff. Okay. I think with that, actually, we're also done. We've gone over all the new content that came with this content drop. We've looked at all of the, event stuff, gacha stuff, alterations, Twitter videos. All right. Cool beans. So with that, guys, I'm gonna wrap up, head out. I am tired and I want to finish this tea cake. I should have the stream up covering that Gundam Games bit in a couple of days. I'll let, as I said, let people know the morning of whether or not it's going to be happening or not. Assume it will. Yeah. So peace out, guys. As always, thanks for tuning in, hanging out and stuff. I'm glad we had a nice old chat. Really extended the stream duration though, all things considered. But hey, you know what? Sure, why not? I missed the times we had to review 6 alterations. Why are you like this? Alright. Peace out, guys, and I'll see you in a couple of days. 99% for the Gundam game stream. Peace out.